Be careful. I know I'm a rookie when I say this. It's gonna break my heart. I really hadn't noticed it. It kind of came in early in the beginning, and I was great. I was slamming. You kind of forget to pay attention, especially if you kick off like this and the dog does something and you try to sit back down. You kind of got to really be engaged. And again, I feel like I am. Just not there with all the sunshine yet and getting, well, there's that analog version plus this digital version where again you can hook up to the satellite some which way, and that's a great part of the test for either a kid or an adult. For kids, we're just stretching out the timeline, natural course of hydrogen working its way back down to whatever form of metal you were, working its way back to the core. um, and inside of there, so we got to understand this filter. Let me just
True, and these get a false. And basically, false would be the lines we don't want.
Okay, so we'll just keep it right here at the high key, right? Because let's turn it on its side and put it this way and just true, true, true. And that way that becomes a black body problem. Essentially, it is. It's a button toggle switch issue. So when you're looking at this, it's like, yes, Higgs's garbage can is one of my favorite examples of what that is. And I love all of that. Those are God particles out here, especially the way you set that up in a tight little environment. And hopefully, I'm backing it up on some Warcliffe stuff with you, doing the numbers. Um, that I'm trying to help everybody that would get a fault on here. If this was a timed event and they needed the data charts one dead, right? Then there's no catalyst for the material and you're going to have a real hard time. So I must give you some form of a data table. And as soon as I did, it's gone. Well, that's not anything. I can write any of that stuff down. It's a real easy thing. And so whether it was students in a class on the last video or for flattening or no, not flattening. Oh yeah. No. Man, it might have been flattening. Well, anyways, he had Joe, and in the class, and you're born right hand rule. It's the approximation for the most part. I would imagine that's 80-20 in some regards, or the spin direction has that probability, especially the way you heavy side this side of it. There are winners together and winners together, but that's the nasty and central limit theory in that three phase from what I see, because when you jump, you eventually creep down. You might have had something in the morning and somebody can blow past you on the numbers, but you're generally right. If it was in general physics like that, throwing a ball or doing things here, again in these numbers, it can get a little weird, especially considering the context of that information. If you're looking at it early and all right, waiting along and going along with you. C++, and again, part of my thesis as a teacher, I want to try to do that because it works practically in stone mills. It's been a while since I've done the pattern calculator. There it has its own base array from 1x1s to 1x1/6s to 1x2s all the way up to 3x3s with different thicknesses depending on X or Y, how you set that up. That's enough to kick people one way or the other right off of, if there was only laying plans and protracted warfare or spies or anything like that. It really does run into those walk distance speeds for the Army and getting heavy about this stuff. And still practical to write it down as long as you're willing to, majestus, be able to keep on that. Then it's becoming work. If later on when we've seen some of the wave functions, right, like that's for real. I can't, all bullshit aside, three phase, that's certainly a piece of it that you can say, hey man, you can stay on it there. What is it? Melodor. And hopefully it's a good number about the 40K and Sunshine on Vulcan for you as far as wrestling the dragon. Hey, I'm probably sure as soon as I get to that point when I do have enough of this done where I can actually say, all right, so how do I take a data table like this and or some of my information and the way it's all worked out and get it to a Python or well, any kind of JavaScript engine where I'll have an easier time than just directly doing it until I figure out where in here that is. Or if I turn out that there is a method in which to do that in here, well, I'll let you know.